Hey, and welcome back to TLC Next Updates. Make sure to subscribe and like before we dive into today's update, which is an emotional one. We have a lot to discuss after last night's tell-all episode of Sister Wives, and everybody is focused on Robyn Brown. The family remains shaken following the devastating loss of Garrison, and tensions run high as they struggle to come to terms with their sorrow. To put rumors to rest and provide fans with answers, Kody, Robyn, Christine, Janelle, and Meri sat down again with host Janelle Christine for an honest chat. But what was supposed to be a healing session went in a completely different direction when Robyn shared a quiet but impactful statement regarding Kody's honesty, or lack thereof. And just when viewers thought they'd heard it all, Robyn shared a whispered truth that rocked Kody's whole story. Throughout the episode, Sukanya posed a difficult question to Kody. Did he ever really treat all his wives the same? Kody maintained that he and Robyn were only criticized due to their love, and that people love differently. His relationship with Robyn, in his opinion, was just deeper and stronger. But 1 minute later, Sukanya highlighted an enormous contradiction. Kody had said in previous episodes that he always sought to love and treat all his wives equally. And now, his narrative appeared to change entirely, baffling both the crowd and the host. Then Robyn piped up, contradicting Kody's new assertions in her own low-key manner. She stated Kody used to say how much he loved Christine, Janelle, and Meri when they were courting. So listening to him now state that he never loved them sounded like he was revising history. It was a tiny remark, but one that hardly helped show she was backing his version of history. This was a turning point and exposed cracks even in the most solid marriage in the family. For once, Robyn did not stand by Kody, and the other wives also had something to say. Kody argued that he tried as hard to love Robyn as he did the rest of them. But Meri wondered if they all had to be like Robyn in order to be loved by him. Janelle laughed, saying it would have been helpful if he had been honest back then. Christine called his statement an outright lie. The story doesn't end here. Part 2 of the tell-all airs on June 1st, 2025, and it promises even more jaw-dropping moments. Janelle will open up about her frustration with Kody and Robyn, and Christine will confront the label of being Kody's so-called favorite ex-wife. But there's another shocking twist occurring. Some fans are now wondering, was Robyn, in a surprising manner, really a blessing to the first 3 wives? Robyn has been the target of fan disgust for years, always the one blamed by the family as being responsible for its demise. Most felt she had an undue influence over Kody to move everything towards her and her kids. The relocation to Flagstaff, which was a significant milestone in the breakup of the family, continues to be connected to her in the minds of many onlookers. But still, against all odds, a new theory has emerged. Some fans think that Robyn's inclusion, as unpopular as it was, might really have encouraged Christine, Janelle, and Meri to walk away and reclaim their autonomy. In a weird sort of way, Robyn could have encouraged them to see their value and leave behind a life they no longer wanted. Robyn also revealed another side of herself in part 1 of the tell-all. When queried about the breakup between Meri and Kody, she refused to speak, stating that she would like to respect their privacy. Nevertheless, she intimated that Meri wanted to be left behind and that there was more to her going away than people understood. So now, people are left questioning. Was Robyn guarding a secret, or was she simply choosing not to engage? On social media, there are divides. Some feel she was the last straw for the wives' freedom, while others still view her as the one responsible for the family's downfall. Whatever your take, one thing is certain. The Brown saga is far from finished, and the truth keeps coming undone with each show. What's your 2 cents? Is Robyn the one who tore the family apart, or the surprise force that worked to free the original wives? Share your opinions in the comments, and don't forget to watch part 2 of the tell-all. Others feel that if Robyn Brown had not come into the Brown family, the original wives would have been even more heartbroken than they were. Although it's generally agreed that Robyn was a major contributor to the family's downfall, some viewers now find themselves viewing her presence as a secret blessing. Christine, Janelle, and Meri are all prospering today. Janelle is hard at work on her dream house in North Carolina. Christine is content in a second marriage, and Meri, remaining in Utah, is still a proponent of self-love and emotional restoration. Ironically, the repercussions of this family breakup have seen the original wives move into new lives full of
joy, lucidity, and autonomy. But whereas all these women have transitioned to empowering post-divorce lives, not everyone emerged from the breakup unharmed. The children, especially those whose father hardly sees them anymore, have had to witness Kody create a new life with Robyn as if forgetting his past. They've seen him welcome Robyn's family while drifting away from his own biological. These are cuts that go deep and will take an. One fan likened Robyn to a personal experience, being dumped pregnant by a boyfriend, then eventually appreciating the breakup. There are times through heartbreak, Christine confessed in.
then truth-telling. It was a rare and telling moment from the woman so long depicted as the cause of the family's downfall. Then, individually, the other women discovered their voices. Meri, the most reserved and emotionally resilient of the first wives, finally broke her silence. Her words, dripping with ironic humor, painted years of silently wondering. Had she ever truly been loved? Or was the only road to love becoming just like Robyn? Janelle, stubborn and independent, laughed at the ridiculousness. If only Kody had told her the truth years earlier, she said. Maybe they all could have made different choices, earlier, and with fewer tears. And Christine, fearless and unflinching, didn't mince words. She accused the whole narrative of being dishonest, not in a rage, but because her own voice had been silenced long enough. You can't edit someone else's truth, she stated. Their hurts, their sacrifices, their narratives, those were truths, regardless of whether or not Kody recognized them. A revealing trend was evident as the discussion went deeper. That myth of the perfect wife, Kody had always maintained that he worked towards equality. But in fact, he constructed his emotional universe based on one woman, whether consciously or unconsciously. And though he professed to love every wife uniquely, it was also evident that love sans honesty had only ever sown bitterness. What he perceived as balance, the others felt as emotional abandonment. No longer content to be supporting actors in someone else's story, the women held fast, not as ex-wives, but as human beings who were entitled to honesty, equality, and respect. The mirage of solidarity had broken. Raw truth stood in its place. As the episode was coming to a close, the discussion turned to what the future holds. Robyn, who was once Kody's obvious favorite, confessed to feeling the pressure more than ever before. Instead of being protected, her status had isolated her, closely watched, criticized, and alone. She now found herself wondering where she really fitted into this broken family. Janelle spoke in measured tones, suggesting a bitterness toward the woman who had been her sister. The unresolved tension between them was no longer something that could be swept under the rug. Christine, on the other hand, complained about being referred to as Kody's favorite ex-wife. The title was empty and derogatory. No woman should ever feel vindicated by comparison, she asserted, her voice finally coming after years of silence. Ultimately, the tell-all revealed more than a little family dysfunction. It peeled back the curtain on spiritual betrayal, emotional disequilibrium, and the quiet strength of women taking back their truth. What seemed initially to be a tale of polygamy became something altogether different. A tale of survival, awakening, and the potency of choosing yourself. Emotional wounds ran deep. This wasn't a tale of polygamy only. It was a family saga of betrayal, loyalty, and, in the end, the difficult path to self-discovery. One woman was at the center of the turmoil, whose introduction into the family had caused turmoil for years. Her arrival into the infamous plural family sparked controversy among the fans, many of whom attributed fault to her for causing strife and disintegration of what had appeared to be an impenetrable family tie. To the critics, she had become an icon of nepotism, blamed for nudging the family elder into decisions that left the first wives in the cold and in the shadows. Things came to a head when the family moved their lives to a new town in the Southwest. Rather than the fresh start they had envisioned, cracks opened. Emotional fractures grew deeper, and before long, two of the longtime wives made the agonizing choice to split. But as the dust started settling, another story began to unfold. To many, it became a surprise to see some fans looking at this divisive woman from a different perspective. Not the villain, but the surprising change agent. Was it possible that her arrival, as much as it appeared to disrupt the order, Was indeed the prod the initial wives required? The prod to realize their value, rekindle their happiness, and escape a dynamic that had already held them emotionally captive for so long? This concept ignited fierce debate. Occasionally, the individual who would seem to hurt you most is the very reason you become strong. When the recent Tell-All special went on the air, this woman's attitude left all of us in shock. She didn't bite. When asked to speak about the painful breakup between the patriarch of the family and one of the original wives, she delivered cool restraint. Instead of sharing complaints, she chose silence, out of so-called respect. But in that quiet refusal, there was a whisper of something greater. She hinted at demands within their common faith community, saying that the breakup had to do with personal spiritual issues she wasn't about to announce publicly.
Whether or not her silence was loyalty or deliberate avoidance, it only created more rumors and left people hungry for the real thing. In online spaces, voices emerged that challenged the long-standing villain narrative. On fan forums and social platforms, some described her not as a homewrecker, but as a hidden blessing. To them, her arrival wasn't disruptive, it was a wake-up. If she had never entered, how long might the wives have stuck in? Contrary, is possible disrupting might have rescued. Janelle is their chapter.
Their stories have evolved into templates of what it is to take back your life from heartbreak. One of them has fallen in love again, establishing a new marriage founded on mutual respect and true affection. Another is now fulfilling her dream home, a serene sanctuary far from the shadows of her past. And the third became an enthusiastic advocate for emotional healing, telling her story to inspire others who had felt unseen and unloved. These women were once together in a shared vision. Now, they are living testimonies to the fact that even in the wake of destruction, there can be renewal. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video as much as I did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for day-by-day updates and deep dives into the life of the Sister Wives cast. Your support is the best. See you soon.